Well, he said the quiet part out loud. The chairman of the January 6th committee just admitted that the entire committee is one big fat fraud. We're going to look at the latest admission that there are not going to be any criminal charges filed against Trump. We're going to see Liz Cheney go into meltdown mode, and make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal what the J6 committee really is all about. You're not gonna want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And I know you know what else I want you to do. I want you to have an amazing night of sleep every single night. And you can do that by clicking on that link below and getting yourself the one and only MyPillow. That's right. You know Mike Lindell. He's a good friend of this channel. He's a Patriot's Patriot, and he's now offering you the best sleep of your life with his lowest prices in the history of MyPillow with code Turley. So usually a classic MyPillow is actually $69.98, but now with code Turley you can get your own for just $19.98, and that applies to over 200 products in their catalog. So gang, don't wait. You deserve this. Give yourself a beautiful night's sleep. Get one for yourself. Get one for the patriots in your life. They're going to love you for it. Let's support our good old fellow patriot Mike Lindell and get the best sleep of our lives in the process. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. So if you haven't heard, the chairman of the J6 committee has just admitted that the whole committee is really nothing more than a big fat fraud. I mean, the chairman of the sham J6 committee has publicly admitted that the committee will not be making any criminal referral of President Trump or anyone else to the Justice Department. Now, of course, that was the whole point. We've been told this all along. The bug-eyed Adam Schiff has been saying for some time now that the committee is everything it needs to have Trump indicted by the Justice Department. The left-wing wacko and MSNBC contributor Glenn Kirshner has been saying the same thing. In fact, he said that the Department of Justice has no other choice than to indict President Trump. That's all we've been hearing for weeks now from the cheerleaders in the lamestream media. And now, as of today, the chairman of the committee has come out and said that he has no plans to make any criminal referral of President Trump to the Justice Department. Now, obviously, the soon-to-be ex-congresswoman from Wyoming, Liz Cheney, is flipping out. And she's not flipping out over the fact that she's down double digits in the polls against her primary challenger. No, no, no. Instead, she is flipping out that both the chairman and other members of the committee are balking on making criminal referrals. She's like, guys, why the heck do you think I was participating in this thing in the first place? I want Trump's head on a platter, and I'm not leaving until I see it. Well, we'll have to see about that one. But it does appear that reality is beginning to set in among a number of members of the sham committee. First and foremost, of course, was the ratings fiasco surrounding the primetime hearings when they first aired Thursday night. And bear in mind, they aired on every single network and cable news channel for the exception of Fox. The hearings were an absolute dud. Joe Concha tweeted out, quote, the evening newscasts on CBS, NBC, and ABC average anywhere from 18 to 20 million viewers combined on a typical night. Those newscasts don't air in primetime. The January 6 hearings, airing in primetime Thursday, took in just 11 million viewers on those same three networks. So they actually lost viewers. And that's because every single poll out there, every single one shows that the American population has moved on from January 6. The only people on the planet who care about J6 are the committee members and the Democrats, because the Democrats are so desperately trying to distract voters from the sky-high gas prices and record inflation, not to mention a whole host of other left-wing catastrophes besetting our nation. Look, when all is said and done, the J6 committee is a clown show and nothing more. My namesake, Jonathan Turley, is pointing out that they're not even trying to look impartial or legitimate. I mean, there's no proportionate representation of the minority, the Republican Party. The Republican Party wasn't even allowed to appoint their own members. This is just a sham kangaroo court that has been commissioned to do Nancy Pelosi's bidding. And everyone sees it. Trump did absolutely nothing to warrant an indictment, and this chairman appears now to be admitting that. And so that's why we're increasingly beginning to see voices on the left admit that this whole thing is a sham. Left-wingers are openly admitting that this whole J6 committee is nothing more than one big sham. Before I show you, last week I announced the exciting in-person premiere for my new movie, The Return of the American Patriot, The Rise of Pennsylvania, premiering in Lancaster, Pennsylvania on July 16th. Notice I said Lancaster, right? Lancaster. But it's almost totally sold out. We only have about a couple of handfuls of tickets left. I want you to be there in Lancaster with me for that premiere. So don't wait. Click on that link below right now. Grab your tickets while you still can. And I can't wait to meet you along. We'll have Senator Doug Mastriano in Lancaster for this premiere. You're going to absolutely love it. All right. So I was very impressed by a piece written by the ultra-left commentator Chris Hedges on the equally ultra-left salon.com. And the piece reads, "The January 6th committee is spectacle taking the place of politics. It will accomplish nothing." In fact, actually, Hedges believes it's only going to embolden the Patriot right for the midterms. In the end, the J6 committee is doing nothing to help the Democrats and only emboldening the Republicans. This according to Hedges. But Hedges had a very interesting observation in the article about this whole notion of spectacle and how dying regimes have always turned to spectacle as a substitute for any legitimate capacity to govern. He writes, quote, "The Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, whose televised hearings began last Thursday, is spectacle replacing politics. There is nothing substantially new in the accusations. The committee lacks prosecutorial power. No charges have been filed by Attorney General Merrick Garland against former President Donald Trump, and none are expected. The choreographed hearings, like the 2 impeachment trials of Trump, will have no effect on Trump voters other than to make them feel persecuted, especially with more than 860 people already charged, including 306 guilty pleas for their role in storming the Capitol. The committee echoes back to Trump opponents what they already believe. It's designed to present inaction as action and substitute role-playing for politics. It perpetuates, as Guy Debord writes, our empire of modern passivity." And when I read that, I couldn't help but think of the concept that scholars have been talking a lot about lately of spectacle, a concept known as virtual politics. It's an important term to remember because we're seeing a lot of it of late here. In fact, I would argue, in line with Hedges, I would argue that globalist politics right now is virtual politics. Virtual politics is not something that globalist governments do, right? Governments that implement a single one-size-fits-all political and economic system designed to economically advantage the elites in power. Virtual politics is not something that such globalist governments use or do. It's something that they've become. Virtual politics describes the fact that what passes for democratic participation is in point of fact entirely fake. It's nothing more than a carefully choreographed performance designed to maintain the political status quo that enriches and benefits the political class. Another way of saying it is that virtual politics is the way that elites seek to manage, manipulate, and contain democracy, such that democratic structures and institutions always benefit them, our political elite. And so what this involves is the whole of our democratic process it's actually choreographed by a cadre of what scholars call political technologists who actually manufacture entire political narratives, which actually includes the opposition, all ultimately in an effort to keep all of them in power. Political technologists act as political meta-programmers who basically construct the whole narrative by which our politics operate. And what's so fascinating is that that narrative includes the political opposition. So that's the role that Liz Cheney is playing. Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, right? They're the approved opposition, the lone 2 Republicans that are on the J6 committee, precisely because they're so enamored by the moral fortitude of the Democratic Party and its commitment to righteousness and justice. All other Republicans, at least as far as the J6 committee's script reads, all other Republicans have been filtered out as frauds, as Trumpists, as proto-fascists, all right, you name it. They play the part of the evil darkness that continues to lurk over the Capitol and that every citizen that loves justice and righteousness is obligated to oppose. Now, the wonderful news, as the ratings demonstrated, is that no one cares. No one's giving these virtual politics the time of day. Even leftists are admitting that the globalist ruling class is indeed beginning to crumble. And no spectacle, no matter how elaborate, is going to save them. Now, before you go, you'll definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on why the Peter Navarro arrest will destroy the political class. It's a very, very fascinating argument. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.